boom, 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 boom. Welcome into the Dirty Pocket. And it has been a dirty week indeed in
Oh,
the NFL.
yes.
I am joined by my comrade and fellow host, the scout Daniel Kelly, also covers the Jets and Lions for Sports Illustrated. My friend, how are we this week?
Hey, we're doing well. It's just like the dirty pocket. I mean, you just got, as we say in scouting, when it's a linebacker, right? We say the scouting term is, does he sort through the trash well? In other words, does he kind of sift through the areas of, blockers, everything in front of him? And so this has kind of been one of those weeks where I've had to sift through a lot of trash to get into the pocket.
Wow, man. Who knew? It's been a lot of trash. I've been watching you in action in that wonderfully well-balanced, polite, and honorable place called Twitter that apparently Elon Musk is going to take over. I'm barely following that, but God, I don't know if Twitter could get any worse. It certainly is an interesting, interesting place. But,
hey, I tell you what, Twitter very well may be set up by the FBI's watch list because there's some really there's some characters on there that, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I'll say it for you. I've never seen so much anger and vitriol. And I mean, on anything. I like raccoons, and then 700 people tell you that you're the biggest scum that's ever lived. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
As we said in New York, Stacey, that cactus is what they are.
Gotcha. Well, we'll skip that. Our pocket gets dirty. Football is messy, and we talk about it. And here we are this week, highlighting of what apparently, as I know your fridge is full, orange Fanta from the Scout as his beverage of choice.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to have to do an appropriate introduction here. Kind of like, we just give, pause for stations to identify themselves. Fanta, the official drink of the Dirty Pocket. When Trey Lance leaves a horrible taste in your mouth, wash it down with some Fanta.
Oh, no. We were less than 3 minutes in this week, and we've got Trey Lance, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about Trey Lance. I've got no fun sponsorship lingo because it's water. So, hydrate, people. There's my message. Nice segue.
It's that time of the year. Nice time of the year. Yeah. You got to start drinking some water. It's just H2O time.
Right. Yeah, here we go. And of course, I could go on for 20 minutes, but we'll derail this week's final mock draft of round one. If I go too deep on Trey Lance, I know, of course, tweets yesterday were that he has been informed by the powers that be in San Francisco that he will be the starter. So I guess we're going to get to see it, and we don't want to talk about it because we've talked a lot about it on the show.
Wait.
Apparently we do.
Stop the presses. I love all the little secret, whispers in Trey's ears and everything else and all the people and how Kyle Shanahan will say anything in the alphabet or the dictionary besides Trey Lance is my starting quarterback in 2022. I don't care about what these reporters are saying when they say he's been told he's going to be the starter. Kyle Shanahan refuses to say it. Like who was it? George Bush? Read my lips, Kyle Shanahan. Say the words, get hooked on phonics, and say, Trey Lance is my starting quarterback. I dare you.
He's not going to do it. He didn't do it with the biggest cameras in the world on him, so that tells you that somehow I don't think he's going to listen to us at all. However, Scout Kelly, I think Mr. Kyle Shanahan might have a bigger problem on his hands.
He has 19 problems on his hands.
As of earlier today, we must at least, before we jump into our mock draft, discuss that one, Deebo Samuel has officially asked for a trade off the delightful San Francisco 49ers and added that he does not want to be known as a running back wide receiver hybrid any longer. This just got good in San Francisco, and for Rams fans, and might I add, the world champion Los Angeles Rams, my God, is the NFC West looking like a soap opera. I mean, what? Yeah. Okay, Deebo Samuel, you've been saying for weeks, you have written articles for Sports Illustrated, you have been talking about this. Deebo is going to ask for a trade. You're thinking Jets. Look, What happened today? He is look, this is more than I want to be the highest paid wide receiver. Something happened in that organization where he said, I don't even want to play here anymore.
Probably. People keep telling him that Trey Lance could be the starting quarterback. I would hit the ejection button too. I mean, come on. I mean, to go from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance is going from a Corvette down to a Schwinn bike. I mean, who wants to go on that ride? So I think that, the thing of it is that, the bottom line is the 49ers way overplayed their hand with the Trey Lance fiasco last year. They gave up all that draft capital, 3 number ones to move into position, to take a guy that played glorified high school football in college. And now they're sitting there without a first rounder. And guess what? How business is done in the NFL, believe me, I was there. It's always based on who we're familiar with. We can't think outside of this box. We only can do business with agents that grease our palms and friends that we have around the league, okay? And that's the thing here we have to remember is that Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh worked together with the San Francisco 49ers. Saleh was his defensive coordinator naturally. Now look at the Jets. Isn't this convenient? The Jets have 2 number ones. They have 2 number twos. They have 2 fours. Isn't this convenient? Oh, wow. Maybe we can recoup some of that wasted draft capital we had for Trey Lance, and we can go ahead and shuffle, Deebo Samuel and his 19 problems off to the Jets, which is exactly, may I add, what the Jets need desperately. Okay, Joe Douglas, his office chair is about 110 degrees at this point. It's getting warmer by the day. All he did was go on and sign 2 tight ends in the free agency and a guard who basically spent the entire NFC Championship game, which against the Rams, basically again put on skates and put into Jimmy Garoppolo's face, Laken Tomlinson. That was Joe Douglas's his workmanship in the offseason of free agency. Guess what, guys? Definition of insanity. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always gotten, right? Okay. And here's Zach Wilson going into year 2, and everybody's like, oh, it's going to be so much different. Listen, they didn't get the game-breaking receiver in free agency. They didn't trade for a game-breaker yet, but this trade works, and all Kyle Shanahan has to do is pick up the phone and ask his friend Robert Saleh to do the deal. And guess what? Since Shanahan promoted him and basically pushed him and signed off on Saleh getting the head coaching job with the Jets, he is leveraged and he must do it. So Deebo Samuel would therefore end up with the New York Jets, and all of a sudden that gives the Jets a legitimate threat, which they desperately need, because what happens is that this is not about, people say, well, shouldn't they get Jameson Williams? Guess what, guys? Zach Wilson can't get the ball to him downfield, okay? You could have a guy that runs a 3.9 40, and Zach Wilson will throw the ball, into the stands, okay? Zach Wilson needs a receiver who has a big catch radius, and what I mean by that, he can catch balls high, he can catch balls down low, where Zach Wilson excels throwing at the ground, those kind of passes, right? Okay, I'm serious. Okay, I mean this is not the cream puff schedule that Zach Wilson got overgraded and overrated by the Jets brass. Okay, at BYU, this is the NFL, which stands for not for long. When you bring in quarterbacks who are soft skin, just soft, the weak personality like Zach Wilson has. But that's another show. Okay. This situation right here is Deebo Samuel can take a short pass and he can turn it yakety yak. He can gain yards after the catch. He's explosive, dynamic. He's a game-changing wide receiver the Jets desperately need. So you have 2 sides of the equation. You have the 49ers who desperately need draft capital. You have the Jets who desperately need a game-breaking, game-changing wide receiver. Boom, you got 2 old friends doing business. This seems to be a done deal in my mind.
Oh, I tell you what, that would be interesting. And you bring up some solid arguments. They'd probably like to recoup some of that draft capital, some of those picks. I got to believe, and I kind of had a chuckle today when I saw this, that Sean McVay and Les Snead just launched in a call into San Francisco. So, we're just wondering, if Deebo, would you trade him in division? bam, they hung the phone up on him.
Bam. I hear Minnesota's trying to make a deal for him too. Maybe they'll do a three-way deal. Maybe O'Connell will send him back down to St. Louis and try to do a three-way to get him into St. Louis. But it's just very interesting. And by the way, I didn't mean that Zach Wilson has soft skin. I misspoke there for a second. I haven't got much sleep. He's just a soft personality that doesn't belong in New York whatsoever.
New York's a tough place for that kid after
coming out of BYU. You said it right. The key word, the kid.
Yeah, he's a young guy. Yeah, I'm not quite as down on him as you are, but I do think going to the Jets could be a death sentence.
It's a disaster. There's one reason and one reason alone. Turn up your volumes. Zach Wilson's uncle owns JetBlue Airlines, and JetBlue Airlines is the official airline of the New York Jets. Politics 101. Only reason in the world they took that soft cookie from BYU.
Oh my God, tinfoil hats are on, and we are rocking them. We've got all kinds of angles.
Go time, baby.
It's a dirty pocket. I love it. Okay, well, hey, enough Deebo talk. We know that something's going to shake loose there, and that's going to be interesting.
And by the way, what a nightmare for Trey Lance if Deebo goes bye-bye. Okay, go on.
Yeah, they've got to try to patch it up. I mean, seriously, he's a safety blanket. I don't know. I mean, Brandon Ayuk isn't going to be the guy. Not that he's bad. He's just not Deebo.
Well, I'm not talking about the games. I'm talking about when Trey Lance runs the scout team. But go on.
Oh, okay. All right. Trey Lance episode. This is not, people. So this is what we got for you. We got picks 22 through 32 of the Dirty Pocket 2022 NFL mock draft with the scout Daniel Kelly and myself, host of Gridiron and Icon Stacey Bauman. We come together to be this dynamic duo. Okay. Let's talk about the NFL draft. And we have had 2 solid weeks of picks. I can't wait to see what you got teed up here for us this week. I know that you've been grinding film, writing articles, celebrating an anniversary in there somewhere, grabbing a couple hours of sleep, but it's been all football for you. The draft is next week, man. So good timing.
It's like Christmas or something. I can't wait.
Oh my God, me neither. This is absolutely my favorite time of year. So outside of Super Bowl, especially when you are a fan of the world champion Los Angeles Rams. Okay, let's jump into this draft. Your day is coming, buddy. Your day's coming. By the way, before we get into the draft, and we only got 30 minutes to squeak out our picks, but just going to drop this bomb on you. Breaking news. I saw rumors flying around that a certain team in the nation's capital, Washington Commanders, may have an interest in shipping Carson Wentz and one of their receivers to San Francisco for Jimmy Garoppolo and Deebo. So let's see if that comes to fruition. And then, my God, people, look out. The scout, who is a lifelong fan of that Washington team. Oh, my God, we're going to be talking about this for every episode. So,
hey, and people on social media go crazy to see my tattoo. So here's another one. I only had 3 million views on one tweet I had this week. So here's another one over here, and it had 3 different articles written about me too. So I'll kind of take a screenshot, everybody, save the receipts.
The man's in. He's been a lifelong fan, and there ain't nothing you can do about that. Okay, it's time for our mock draft. We teased it. We shot it out there. Now it's time to dig right into it. So here we go. At pick number 22 of the first round of the 2022 NFL mock draft, we have your Green Bay Packers and a guy you love at quarterback, 2-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. Who do they pick, Scout, with number 22 to start this week's mock?
I want to bang of the drums all day. Isn't that what they say?
Here we go.
With the 22nd pick selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Maija Sanders, edge rusher, Cincinnati.
Wow. As is the case with your finely written articles and shock titles like Scout and Shocking Mock Draft, that's a shocker. Why?
Well, here's the thing, okay? Maija Sanders is a mean and nasty edge rusher, okay, from the University of Cincinnati. It was really a mean and nasty defense to begin with Sauce Gardner and those guys coming off there. This guy reminds me, and I don't throw around this very loosely, okay, because Dexter Manley's my favorite defensive player of all time. Okay. And there are reminders. Dexter Manley went through my mind as I watched Maija Sanders. So I'm going to put that comparison on him. This is a guy that's a dynamic pass rusher who has a very high motor, and the guy is just a brute. The guy is an alpha coming off the edge, and he is just going to test you on the edge of the pocket. He's going to test you bull rushing. He's going to come back inside. This guy is going to make the Green Bay Packers forget all about Zadarius Smith, who they lost, who went up to the Vikings. And this is what you need. You have to have somebody who can get to the quarterback. And Maija Sanders is a guy who can get to the quarterback. And really, one of my very favorite players in the 2022 NFL draft is Maija Sanders. I don't love a lot of guys. I like a lot of guys in this draft and a lot of drafts. It takes a lot for me to throw the LOVE word on it, but I love Maija Sanders.
Love it. Okay, so there is definitely one in a left field, a highly thought of player, just not this high. You and I are thinking along the same lines for the Green Bay Packers. We'll talk about that later when they pick again at 28 in terms of edge rushing. That is my pick here at number 22 for the Packers, and I think it's an absolute steal at this spot. And I think that's the best route runner in this draft at wide receiver, Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State. I think they give somebody not the Garrett Wilson, but, and I don't want to say consolation prize, because I think Chris Olave is very good. I think the Packers run that card up to the podium at this rate, and they get a receiver that they can plug and play for 10 years. Thoughts? Oh man, you look disturbed at that pick. Just disturbed.
You know, it's funny because in the counseling sessions that my wife and I go to, we go through, it's like, again, maintenance for your car, right? You always, just make sure everything's okay. My counselor's been talking to me a lot about thinking before I speak, So that's what I was doing right there.
Pocket. Just let it rip, man.
I was pausing for my station to identify itself in my head. Chris Olave is a bust.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, God, wouldn't that just figure if he goes to Green Bay?
Here's the issue I have with Chris Olave, okay, is I'm not like all the rest of these draft analysts who just say these outrageous things and they don't watch any films so they can't back anything up, okay? They just all copy each other and get paid by the agents to push the players that they want to have pushed, okay? Chris Olave, okay, when I watched him, in 40 years watching the game, I have never seen a wide receiver get so very easily rerouted off the line of scrimmage. Yes, and it's been documented in the past that this has been a concern of others too. Is that he is light, and he ends up getting when like somebody wants to jam him up and get physical with him, they can reroute him very easily. Number two, he is nothing to write home about in the short to intermediate ranges of the field whatsoever. The guy runs undisciplined, sloppy routes. The guy also takes plays off. If the ball's not going in, this guy lives for one thing and one thing alone, and that's the SportsCenter ESPN highlight shot at the end of the night. That's what he's looking for. Everything else, he basically steals a paycheck, or will be stealing a paycheck, I should say, the National Football League. This guy is a surefire bust in my mind. Yes, he's fast, but he is no Garrett Wilson from the Ohio State on the other side, who's my WR1. But yeah, if you get me started about Chris Olave, I mean, that's a tough pill to swallow right there. I'm disturbed. I'm disturbed at that one, Stacey. Usually you and I are sometimes we're a little bit apart. Sometimes we're equal. We're on the same page. But this time, this one is like it's woo boy.
I'm in another zip code with you here. So
I wasn't going to say anything until you demanded it.
It's okay.
Let's go to the next pick.
Pocket's messy, No, that's great. I mean, he's known for his route running. I certainly saw him play when you're sitting there describing him. I'm thinking Tavon Austin all over again. Like he's just going to get pushed around. And that was my pick at 22. And I'll tell you what, wouldn't that fit the mold for the Packers as a disastrous pick if I'm right? And I
tell you what, you pair Chris Olave with Aaron Rodgers with those two personalities together, and it will be like the 4th of July in that locker room.
Oh, man. God, not what Green Bay needs. Oh, boy. Okay, so there we have it. The Scouts first. God, Stacy, you're dumb. That's a bust.
No, no,
That's
no.
a
It's
no.
I
I mean
had
that
to.
fun. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm saying
I'm
that's your
not.
first one you felt like, ooh, that's a bad pick.
Right.
So
I've actually graduated from the school of thought that says I can actually accept and respect somebody else's opinion without having to
imagine that.
try to belittle them and downplay them and artificially build myself up like another team of your division's fan base did with me this week. Not
Yeah,
mentioning
oh,
names.
yeah, we won't
I mean,
mention
because
names.
most people I have to like belittle, berate, call you all these names, and somehow, some way, that's supposed to like inflate your point of view or something, or make you more right. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't. But so I'm glad we don't do that in this show. We can still be very respectful, and we can just okay, that's cool.
Right. No reason for that. I saw that on Twitter, and I know that fan base, and it is an interesting one. And we will leave it at that. We'll take the higher road here, right? Besides, I got something fun for you with the next pick. So
Okay.
at pick number 23, we've got another NFC West team that I, of course, always watch, the Arizona Cardinals.
Mm.
Scout Kelly, they're making their way to the podium. They've got some issues too down there. What say
Oh,
you at pick 23?
got the skills to make mills. With the 23rd selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Devonta Wyatt, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Nice solid pick there. Nice solid pick for them. JJ Watt's getting older. They missed on the Chimmy or whatever his name. It's blanking on me right now. A few years back. Very interesting pick there. They go defense with this team.
Defense.
Defense.
They do. And let me tell you guys something, okay? This guy, Devonta Wyatt, makes Trayvon Walker look like he came out of a gumball machine, okay? Oh, absolutely. Trayvon Walker is a second-round defensive tackle, doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the moves to bend the edge of the National Football League. I went on the Florida Sports Radio Network this morning and said the exact same thing. It's documented. It's etched in stone in a cave. Trayvon Walker is not an outside pass rusher, edge rusher whatsoever. He's got a great agent who moved him up the stairwell in the first round, but it'll be foolish or whoever takes him if they take him as anything other than defensive tackle. Now, inside, he's a different story, but a second-round inside defensive tackle. But getting back to the star of the show, the guy who Trayvon Walker could be mentored by, and that's Devonta Wyatt. And Devonta Wyatt is a pocket wrecker. This guy is a force to be reckoned with inside. This guy is constantly challenging the gaps on both sides of the guard he's going up against. This guy can push, and he's got brute power at the point of attack. This guy is what I call quarterback-minded. Devonta Wyatt, what that means is he wants to get to the quarterback, and he can. This guy is a force to be reckoned with. He's a disruption. This guy is going to wreak havoc in the National Football League.
Wow, he is a load. I like him too. Small teaser. I've got him going here in a few picks. I think that he'll be a really nice, solid player for whoever picks him up.
Absolutely. See, we're going to agree on something. We're going to agree on something.
There you go. There's what we were way out here, and now we're back here.
Yeah,
but I'm about to throw you.
We'll see.
I'm about to throw you a curveball, and God, you're going to love it. Because you're in love with this player. You love him. So I think at this point, if it hasn't happened already, the draft absolutely implodes. Because I think the Arizona Cardinals, prior to the draft or on draft night, are going to trade Kyler Murray. I think he is gone. I think it'll probably be out east somewhere, whether it's Carolina. I could see the Steelers making a call. They're going to get rid of Kyler Murray, which means that they will take the card and march it up to the podium where they will choose one of the scouts' favorite players in this draft, quarterback out of University of Pittsburgh, Kenny Pickett, becomes the next Arizona Cardinal franchise quarterback. Scout Kelly.
You know the old saying at Kodak, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Wasn't that Kodak? Yeah, well, you should hope and pray for that to happen as a Rams fan, because let me tell you something. The Arizona Cardinals will be the worst team in the National Football League probably for the next 5 years if that happens. He is awful. He is awful with a capital A. Kenny Pickett is terrible. Kenny Pickett makes Zach Wilson look like a superstar. Okay, this guy has some of the smallest hands in the last 40 years. The quarterback hands have been measured. Okay, he's quirky. Okay, he's rough around the edges. He's unpolished. He's jumpy. He's easily spooked to the pocket. His downfield ball placement is all over the road. He does not throw the easiest ball to catch, and that's throwing a smaller college-sized regulation football, mind you. Now we're moving up to the big leagues, where supposedly I think they put his hand on the rack or something, make it grow an extra fourth of an inch since the combine, because now his hand's gotten bigger mysteriously. It's almost like a chia pet or something. His hand is growing. It's like a freak show or something. But listen, Kenny Pickett is awful. This guy is a career backup type of quarterback. This is Mitch Trubisky all over again. This guy, for SI Lions, I compared him to, for our older fans listening to the show, Rusty Hilgers, who I compared him to. This guy, I mean, I thought Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, and Zach Wilson were awful last year. It just makes me think that they're not as bad as this guy. Kenny Pickett is just. If the Arizona Cardinals do this, and I think to your point, Stacey, again, going back to that relationship thing that we talked about between the Jets and the 49ers doing business, let's remember that the general manager of the Arizona Cardinals came from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is Kevin Colbert's last draft in Pittsburgh, the GM out there. So Steve Keim, the GM, rather, I don't even have anyone feeding me that information, by the way, the general manager in Arizona. So those two may do business one last time for old time's sake. And Kyler Murray, I was just looking tonight at Twitter about Deebo Samuel, and somebody on there said, basically that Deebo requested the trade the day he scrubbed his social media. When a player scrubs their social media like Kyler Murray, it's a lot like a bad breakup in a relationship where somebody moves out of the house. It's the same type of thing. That's what scrubbing the social media means. There's no turning back from that. There's no coming back. There's nothing like that. So I agree with you. He will be traded. But Kenny Pickett, oh my gosh, that will get everybody fired in Arizona. You could bet your house on it.
And they just extended both of them, Keim and
Cliff
Kingsbury. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Listen, I got two words for you. Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert looks like Johnny Unitas compared to Kenny Pickett.
Okay, folks, so there we go. There's my first shocker of the draft. I knew the scout would love that pick.
Well, you just tee me up, don't you? You just sit there. It's like a sniper. You just let's throw him this one. Let's.
Hey, listen, man. I only got this to say. My mock drafts are. Do I just expose myself? They're completely biased. NFC West. I'm looking at Kenny Pickett, maybe Geno Smith in Seattle. And then your guy, Trey Lance in San Francisco. I don't know. Call me weird. I think Aaron Donald and Matt Stafford are going to have another really good shot in the Super Bowl.
Let me say one last thing about Kenny Pickett. Can I?
Of course.
Okay. You want to talk about politics in the National Football League. You want to talk about agents get a hold of these platforms and they build these guys up to epic proportion. Kenny Pickett, okay, and I think it was the summer of 2020 from memory. Kenny Pickett by PFF, Pro Football Focus. I mean, everybody can think I'm out to lunch. That's fine. I'm about the only person who's ever spent a day in the National Football League out of anybody in the media, okay? As far as the people writing this stuff. But here's the thing about Kenny Pickett. PFF, who people esteem as being this site of knowledge, okay? They had Kenny Pickett rated as the 67th best quarterback in college in the country. I didn't say 67th pick overall. I said 67th rated quarterback in 2020. Then all of a sudden if you go back, do us a favor right now, okay? Just put the show on pause, hit the pause button there. Just hit pause. There you go. Hit it right there, okay? And Go on ESPN.com and type in Kenny Pickett, and I want you to pull up his career stats at the University of Pittsburgh. And I want you to look at this last year in 2021, where they gave him like the nice platform so he could build his stats. So University of Pittsburgh could have a better recruiting classes going forward, so everybody could play games and do all this kind of politics and nonsense. But I want you to go back in the 4 years prior and look at Kenny Pickett's stats. Most every year, it's about 13 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That's why he was rated the 67th best quarterback in the country, because his statistics for 4 straight years were bad. So if any team in the NFL wants to bet on a guy like that who's a one-hit wonder, we know what happens with one-hit wonders in the music world.
I'm not even remotely denying this. I thought you would love this. I see Blaine Gabbert. I see maybe a little Blake Bortles. Throw in some Matt
Those
Shaw.
are superstars compared to Kenny Pickett. Those guys are superstars. 5th to 7th round pick. He's not on my board. Get him out of here. No, it's at least those other 3 guys, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Trey Lance, should be happy, because I'm going to have another pinata for next year on this show.
I love it. I love it, man. Okay, we've got to keep it moving. So I will bust us through a couple of picks.
Wow, you're doing this to me, man. You're
at 24.
Chris Olave and Kenny Pickett. I feel like you just hit me over the head with a 2x4.
We're at the back end of the first round, baby. I'm bringing everything at you now. So
we should be in the 12th round talking about this stuff.
Remember those days? Only us old folks remember those.
I do.
Okay, number 24, America's team. Still not sure why. The Dallas Cowboys are on the clock. Scout Kelly, what do you say as they march up to the podium?
With the 24th selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select inside linebacker Christian Harris, Alabama.
Ooh, that's a nice pick. Nice pick. I like that. Solid football player, really meets a need on their team. Okay, Dallas. I mean, they've lost some stuff on the offensive side of the ball. Dak Prescott, I think, is grotesquely overpaid, even though I think he's good. He's just overpaid. Interesting choice. They go linebacker, says the scout. Okay. My pick on this one is a lot less exciting because you already have this player long gone off your board last week. I'd like them to take a look at Kenyon Green, guard, Texas A&M, if he's sitting there, and that would be a freaking steal, as he is a heck of a player. You broke him down a little bit last week early on. But, okay, I like your pick. You say that the Cowboys stick a little bit to the defensive side of the ball, and Dan Quinn gets his guy. They added Dante Fowler, who is now apparently following Dan Quinn around the league. Atlanta, Dallas.
That's how it works. It's how it works with every team. Yeah. I mean, that's why you got the Washington Panthers. I mean, it's the same type of thing. You look at every team. You're going to look at the Minnesota Rams pretty soon. That's just how it works. These guys all follow. The coach leaves, goes to another team, pulls the guys off the trash heap. The other team doesn't want anymore, brings them in, plugs them in. They try to insert that system. They know the lingo. They know the terminology. They know what to expect. It happens everywhere around the league for sure.
It's fascinating, man. Okay, good. Well, the Dallas Cowboys, who I think as we race by them to the next pick, have become almost irrelevant at this point in the NFL, which is kind of surprising to say in some ways. But moving on. Next
Don't
pick.
say that's Samantha's favorite team. Don't say that.
Oh, Samantha, I'm sorry. Happy anniversary. They're irrelevant. Okay. On to pick number 25.
I'm not smiling, honey.
Yeah, from a Commanders fan.
Who?
Yeah, whole other combo.
Who?
At number 25, we have a team that's very interesting and really, with another overtime, may have played in the Super Bowl, or another possession in overtime, I should say. The Buffalo Bills at 25. Scout Kelly, they are on their way to the podium.
With the 25th selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills, as we can hear people in the background, B-U-F-F, right? We can hear that in the background. Yeah, absolutely. The Buffalo Bills select cornerback Trent McDuffie, Washington. And I know that you had him going last week.
I had him last week.
Yeah, you had him last week. But McDuffie's one of these guys that brings a physical edge to the cornerback position, who I really do like. He played a lot of zone at Washington, but he also showed the propensity and the ability to play man coverage. He's a bigger, more physical corner. Listen, in today's NFL defensive game, you got to do one of two things against these pass-happy offense. You have to either get to the quarterback or you have to be able to defend the pass, and Mcduffie helps Buffalo defend the pass.
Love that pick. If he's still sitting there, that'd be a steal. This is one of those cases where we're this far apart on Kenny Pickett and Chris Olave, and now we're joined at the hip. I had him gone already, but I have the Bills also taking a corner to play Appius Tre'Davious White, Andrew Booth, corner Clemson at this spot, so that they get a couple of good young corners to build that defense around. Their safeties are solid. And the Bills, God, you get the feeling the Bills are just one or two little tweaks away. Either that or Josh Allen is very quickly going to become the Dan Marino of this generation, which is huge talent, never wins a Super Bowl. So,
well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out, if it was the, if it's Josh, if it's Josh Allen, if he's the one that's doing this, or if it's his coach that went to the Giants. We're going to find out. Brian Daboll. Yeah, we're going to find out who exactly it is was responsible for that Bills offensive attack. We're real soon.
Yeah, boy, and I love that kid. I think he plays great football, so he'll always keep him competitive. But we both like a corner to the Bills at 25. I think that's a solid pick. If I was going to bet so far in our draft, I'd say we're pretty close on that one. Okay, at 26, a team that stole my heart when they took my guy Robert Woods off the world champion Los Angeles Rams at wide receiver. They've dumped Julio Jones. Roger Saffold has left the fold. Pun intended there. Scout Kelly, the Tennessee Titans are on their way to the podium. Who do you like?
Here comes the card. With the 26th selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select running back Breece Hall, Iowa State.
Okay, first and foremost, I know you love this guy. You've written up plenty of articles. You've compared him to Adrian Peterson. He is a beast. But my man, we got the king, Derrick Henry there. They're going the first running back off the board to the Titans. Talk to us.
Hold on. Let's talk about how many games the King played last year.
Valid point. Tell us.
Yes, Preach. They played 8. Hold on. Somebody's give me the information. Oh, no, they're not. He played in 8 games last year, right? That's from memory. And so that's something. That's why Brian Daboll. So I slipped my mind there for a second because I got so many things going through my mind. It's like an information superhighway with names and figures and everything else. But so I apologize about that. But yeah, no. Breece Hall is a guy who is extremely intriguing, and you never know. I mean, yes, Derrick Henry. I love Derrick Henry. Okay, I think he's a great back. He's a physical beast as a running back. Okay. But let's face the reality of it, okay? The shelf life on these guys doesn't go on forever today. And some of these guys will kind of tail off a little bit, and some of these guys will fall off a cliff, okay, when it comes to be the end of the time, which we've seen time and time again, especially at running back, okay? The Rams have had a couple of those guys throughout the years too. I think every team in the league has.
Todd Gurley, I miss you, man.
Yeah, see that's it. It was the other guy, the big beast before him, number 39. The other guy,
Steven Jackson.
Yeah, that's another one.
Years ago.
Yeah, he's another guy who fell off a cliff. And so you don't know when Derrick Henry's time is going to be up there. And I think that, if you bring in a Breece Hall at first, he's a complimentary back to Henry. And he's a guy that if Henry for some reason should go down, this guy is, I really think Adrian Peterson 2.0 that you touched on, Stacy. Breece Hall is a guy who would just pound patiently. And he just has an incredible nose for the slightest of creases. and he hits that offensive line. He literally has that second gear, that coveted burst of running backs, and he explodes into the second level. This is a home run hitting running back. This is a guy that can take it to distance, 70, 80 yards, no problem whatsoever. And the thing I like about him the most is just how patient he is. This runner is mature beyond his years. This guy will just test you and test you and test you until he exploits you. And another thing I like about Breece Hall is he's a dual threat running back. He's a guy that can catch the ball. And I don't just mean as a check down back. I mean, this guy's a legitimate receiving threat out of the backfield as well. And he's put up 2 years of big stats, receiving and running at Iowa State. And so he's not a 1 year, one hit wonder like we talk about. He's showing consistency and productivity, which is another key element to evaluating these players. I love Breece Hall. I only have one running back going in the first round. Running backs in the first round are a dying breed, obviously. It used to be a really big deal back when we were growing up. Now there's only one in the first round I have mocked, but Breece Hall is definitely that guy who fits that Tennessee Titans mold.
God, I love it. You make a solid case for this, man. Great player. A lot of people aren't seeing running backs mocking them to even be chosen in the first round. So another bit of a bombshell, especially the Titans. You're right. Knee-jerk reaction is they got King Henry. He was hurt half the season. So it's a great point, and boy, do they need offense. They've lost A.J. Brown now. I could see them maybe going wide receiver. A.J. Brown's disgruntled in Tennessee. He scrubbed his social media. I mean, just bonkers, this wide receiver market. Okay, my choice at this spot was a player that you had chosen long ago. I believe it's in the top 10 that I think is a great player, and that is Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Iowa. Now, the Titans have Ben Jones, who's a great center, but I think with the loss of Roger Saffold at guard, leaving for Buffalo, I think somebody gets kicked over and plays a little guard, kind of like Creed Humphrey did in Kansas City, and then ends up being a Pro Bowl center. So I like
good center, very good
yeah.
center.
Oh, good player, man. Yeah, you had him mocked much higher than me, but
he's 6 overall. He moves around great in space, and that's the name of today's game with all the short passes and screens, the running backs and receivers, everything. He can get out, kick out, and block free in space, no question.
Yeah, he's going to be a steal. Whoever grabs him, love to have the Rams grab him, but they will not be choosing in the first or second round. So, okay, we move over to number 27. For those Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians up.
I'm just wiping off a tear because the Rams don't have a first rounder this year.
Yeah, it's okay, man. If you look at all our best players, we had an MVP in the Super Bowl this, few Sundays ago that we chose in the third round. So not worried. World champion Los Angeles Rams. Okay. As a scout, you got to appreciate that. Those middle rounds, baby, you could preach.
Absolutely.
So. Okay, we're moving over to 27. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bruce Arians calls it quits. Todd Bowles, a man you know and have worked with and highly respect, and I do as well. Great guy and coach as well as a player.
I remember him well as free safety for Washington, number 23.
Oh yeah. He was a player. Washington had some players back then, and Mayhew. And anyway, another subject for another show. But the Buccaneers have got their card. They got Tom Brady back. Gronkowski's dragging his feet. They got the card in hand. Oh, boy. Here we go. They are marching it up to the commissioner, Scout Kelly, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who do they draft?
With the 27th selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Logan Hall, defensive tackle, University of Houston.
That's a good pick.
Thank you.
That's a good pick. Ndamukong Suh not playing right now. He's a free agent. Shores up the middle of that defense next to Vita Vea. Oh, I like the pick. That's a good – I don't want to like their pick.
Yeah, I know. That's a good pick. This guy is an unsung superstar in the NFL draft. This guy is a Pro Bowl talent, okay? This guy is a relentless and dynamic inside pass rusher. He has a lightning fast swim move over the top of guard shoulders. This guy is dominant on game film. This guy does things, Logan Hall does things on game film that most defensive linemen can only dream about at night. Logan Hall, I saw him literally run over a guard. I saw him push a double team into a quarterback. This guy is a beast inside. He's a guy that's just really, he can blow things up. He can slip into the gap. He can blow up runs for tackles for losses. This guy fits Todd Bowles to a T when it comes to defense. And this guy is going to create a lot of waves on the interior of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. I love this guy too. It's funny because when I watch the game film, most of the guys, Bill Parcells, the guy I work for at the Jets, call him Jags, just another guy. But some of these guys, they're just a thing of beauty. You just enjoy watching them. You wish you had even more tape because so few guys attack the game the way Logan Hall attacks it. And he gets after it. And not every play, I don't want to make it sound like this is, but he gets after it enough. And when he's on, it's like, oh, wow. It's kind of like the movie The Blind Side. Did you ever see that?
Oh, yeah.
When Michael Orr, when he has that one part of the movie, I just watched it the other day, in fact, where he takes that defensive lineman, just runs him right through the end zone and pushes him over the back of the fence, and Nick Saban and all the college guys are like, oh wow, they all kind of leaning into the screen like, oh wow, and they just have this look of fascination and amusement on their faces. Well, that's the way it is watching Logan Hall.
Oh, he's a heck of a player, dude. I think he's one of my favorite picks of yours, even though I don't want it to be to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but it makes a lot of sense. They've got a great linebacking core with Levante David and Wyatt, and plug him in right next to Vita Vea. Ndamukong Suh's gotten old. He's a free agent. It's a good pick. I went a little different route, but I kept it in the trenches here with my pick for Tampa Bay. I chose Zion Johnson, guard, Boston College. They've lost both guards in the offseason with Ali Marpet just up and retiring. And then they lost the guard on the other side as well. I think there's a very good chance they look for a high round, tough talent to play guard there.
I can see that. I have him mocked early, about second round, early second or so. I'm not sold on him as a pass protector, but as a run blocker in that, I think, yeah. I mean, it's funny because my first mock, I had Kenyon Green, like way back going to the Buccaneers. So that position of guard is definitely a need position for sure. That's a good pick.
There's some good ones in this draft, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you've been watching a lot of film. Lots of good guards. Okay, we'll keep it moving as we move into the second pick of the first round for those Green Bay Packers, and one of the scouts' favorite players, quarterback Aaron Rodgers. They have the card in hand.
See, I don't understand you. You keep trying to hurry me up so I don't talk too long about these so we get through everybody. And then you keep and one the other side of the mouth, you're trying to tee me up about these different players. Which is it? Is it Rodgers?
We're on a time schedule.
Okay.
We're on a time schedule, I mean, look, I was going to run a joke at you. Aaron Rodgers and Trey Lance walk into a bar and they see Kenny Pickett. No. Don't even want to go there. Okay, let's stick with our pick, the Green Bay Packers at number 28, their second pick here in the first round, and they need just about everything. Scout Kelly, who do they have on that card as they march it up to the commish?
Let's go live to Roger Goodell. With the 28th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select David Bell, wide receiver, Purdue.
Did not see that coming. Tell us about David Bell.
David Bell is an elite playmaker type of ability to him. This guy is perhaps the most underrated player in the draft this year. I really like him quite a bit. And this guy can take the top off of defense. He can get deep. He can make it look easy. When you watch college game film as an evaluator like I do, you look for the guys who look like men amongst boys. You look for the guys that make it look easy at the highest levels of college competition. And David Bell does just that. The first time I watched David Bell, when I wrote him up for Sports Illustrated Detroit Lions, I compared him to Marvin Harrison and Gary Clark.
Wow. That is high praise. Two very good ball players from the past. One a Hall of Famer. Unbelievable.
And Gary Clark's my favorite wide receiver of all time. So
heck of a player.
Yeah, I love him right before. Yeah,
fun bunch, people.
That was a posse. That was a posse.
That was. Oh, okay, gotcha.
The fun bunch was before them. Yeah, I mean, it's
good point.
Hey, but you get a mulligan too. You get a do-over too because I couldn't remember Brian Dabble's name. So you get. Yeah,
I didn't know.
Always fair in mock and war or love and war, whichever it is.
I love it. Well, you and I, this is another one of those times when we were really close in the way we were thinking. I too mocked an edge rusher and a wide receiver to the Packers with these two picks. You really loved my Chris Olave pick, so we won't go back to that receiver. However, at the edge here at 28, I picked a guy out of the University of Minnesota, Boy Mafe. I hope I'm saying his name correct. And after the Zadarius Smith disaster, here's my guy off the edge. I am clearly bombing on Packers picks with the scouts. I mean, bombing. Don't like this guy.
Well, it's not that I don't like him. I don't like him in the first round. This guy has gotten a lot of press. Listen, okay, Boy Mafe, I love his story. Okay, he's got a great story. Go check it out if you haven't already. I think he's definitely good from that standpoint. The thing about Boy Mafe is what I said in my upcoming article this weekend for the Jets is that he is a one-trick pass rusher. He is a speed guy that has absolutely positively zero pass rush moves in his arsenal. He's got one move, and that's bringing the hammer, for a tool. He's just coming off the edge. Now, if he can beat you in a foot race to the top of the pocket to the back door, he's got you. Okay. But if you can slide out and get him at the edge, he doesn't even come back inside hardly. It just looks to beat offensive tackles to the edge, right tackles specifically. And so I think that he's got ability that maybe can be developed. I can't believe that he didn't show, he didn't show anything. He didn't show a swim. He didn't show a rip. He didn't show a spin back. He didn't show a ghost move. He didn't show a head bob. He showed nothing. It was raw speed off the edge. And if that didn't do it, he didn't get there.
Wow. Okay. That's, I've heard similar things said about Leonard Floyd, who went on to be much better with the Rams, that he was a one-trick pony, just a speed guy. He had some bend. Very interesting take. I think others are higher on him than apparently you are. So that's
others are getting paid more to be high on him.
Valid point. I think we've talked about that at the outset. It's interesting. It suddenly hit me. I must have like post-traumatic stress disorder on the Green Bay Packers, because I fell into the hole they always fall in. They kind of try to fill a need, and it's never the right pick, whether it was my receiver pick or my edge rusher. It just did not work. Okay, let's move off the Packers.
But we're thinking,
I think they're going backwards.
We're thinking along the same lines.
Yeah,
we're not thinking the same players, but we're in the same edge rusher, receiver. Those are the two big needs, obviously, there.
Admittedly, I liked your picks a lot better for them.
Thank you.
And I think it'll help them. And at a time when I think the Packers really appear to be going backwards. I mean, I wanted to really throw a wrench at you there and go. And the Packers select Christian Watson, wide receiver, and I just knew that your head would go.
I would have broken my computer. Sorry, Samantha. I would have broken my computer. The most overrated player in the 2022 NFL draft. Go check it out for SI 49ers. I wrote the article on it. This guy, he runs a 4.33, but he looks like a 4.65 on anything short to intermediate, and he labors at all the break points, and he can't get any yards hardly after the catch whatsoever against glorified high school competition at the University of the North Dakota State University. So yeah, Christian Watson is I give a 4th to 7th round grade. The guy is just absolutely not the answer at receiver.
I'm really sorry I even brought it
up. In a sadistic type of way, I just wish that somehow, some way that the 49ers would trade Deebo to the out to the Jets, and then bring in Christian Watson to compare him with Trey Lance. It would be like I would have to call NFL Films up on my cell phone and be like, you remember those NFL bloopers you guys used to run? Can you go ahead and start a new reel, and let's just call it 2022 San Francisco 49ers for a title?
Oh, man. Okay. That would be ugly. All right.
You brought him up, not me.
I know. My fault.
Now you want to get going again. See that?
I know. We got 4 picks. It's my job to just kind of keep this thing flowing. We got 4 picks left.
You keep stopping me.
I know. Okay. 4 picks left, and we're running out of time this week. So let's jump over to the Kansas City Chiefs. They've taken some hits this offseason, losing Tyreek Hill. This pick is from the San Francisco 49ers through the Miami Dolphins. Thank you, Tyreek Hill and Cheetah. What say you for the Kansas City Chiefs?
With the 29th selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State.
Oh, another good pick. You're on fire, man. This has been last week and this week's very strong. I think he's going to be a sleeper in this draft.
Well, let's put it this way. He's got the ability. He's got the 4.33 track speed. Okay, that they're obviously minus Tyreek Hill now. It's the problem I have with Jahan Dotson. I first mocked him in the third round when I looked at him for SI Lions earlier this fall because normally I would never put an underachiever in my first round mock. I only take guys I can see as legitimate difference makers. The thing about Jahan Dotson is he has first round ability. It's inside of him. And my thought is on this one, if anybody in the National Football League can bring it out of him, it's going to be basically, Mr. Dad, so to speak, Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs. They can love him and nurture him into being a productive wide receiver in the National Football League. Nobody else will be able to get it out of him probably. So that's why I like Dotson. He's kind of a jack of all trades, Swiss Army knife type of player. You can motion him around pre-snap. You can take a hand off all the backfield. This new kind of player, this Deebo Samuel type of player that everybody seems to want to, have now. And so that's what he would be in Kansas City.
Got it. Okay. I can't argue with that pick. I think it's a great pick, and particularly in a place of need. This is where I have my guy, Devonta Wyatt, going at defensive line for Georgia.
Great pick, too.
Yeah. Team him with Chris Jones. They need some help on the defensive side of the ball, but you mocked him earlier. Both picks good for the Chiefs. And guess what? Let's move right into their next pick at 30.
It's them again.
The Kansas City Chiefs back-to-back as they somewhat rebuild. I don't know. Scout Kelly, what say you as they go right back to the commish?
With the 30th selection in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Arnold Ebiketie, edge rusher, Penn State.
Okay. Penn State getting some love here in this mock draft by both of us. Very nice. So they bring a guy to play that edge. You go defense with that second pick. I like that pick. I think that's a good pick. I think that's a good pick.
This guy's a human battering ram, a no-nonsense human battering ram with violent hands. He's not fancy. He's not pretty, but this guy brings it play in and play out. This is a violent, mean football player. He had 9.5 sacks in 2021, 52 pressures, according to PFF, 62 tackles, 34 solo. This guy is, like I said, he can play up, standing up. He can play with his hand down in the dirt. He is a high-effort guy that shows he can get to the quarterback and bend the edge. He plays with a nice low pad level. I really like Arnold Ebiketie. He really made a serious impression on me, and I think he would do wonders for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, yeah, that's a really good pick. Even with, I thought you might go defensive back here, just knowing that the Honey Badger is moving on, but I like that pick. Two guys that could really help them in places of need for the Chiefs. And let's face it, they've fallen a little short now, a couple seasons in a row. So
Patrick Mahomes has fallen short.
Oh God, that's a whole episode. I'm not even going to take the bait. Okay. It's a whole episode. And can't argue. Okay, we're going to move into – by the way, I didn't give you my pick. This is a guy that I think this would be an explosive pick for the Chiefs here. You had him mocked. He's long gone on your board. Kyler Gordon, cornerback, Washington. You made us fall in love with him last week, and I agree. If he's sitting there, they need help in that defensive backfield, especially when they got to play the Bills, the Chargers. Now they got Devontae Adams in Las Vegas. Man, they need corners in Kansas City. So
yeah, we're thinking along the same lines. We are. Yep. The name of the game is pass rushers, cornerbacks, and receivers. That's the name of the game.
Absolutely, man. It's a new era NFL. Okay, we're almost through this mock draft. We go to pick number 31, those Cincinnati Bengals. Last time we saw them, the world champion Los Angeles Rams were dropping an L on them in the Super Bowl. And Scout Kelly, what are they going to do to improve? Card in hand, they're on their way to the commissioner.
Well, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to do the Icky Shuffle. Then they're going to go up to the podium. Maybe the commissioner, Roger Goodell, would do the Icky Shuffle. Like that commercial when he's doing it, waiting in line for the deli. Anyways, here we go. I mean, is Mel Kiper this entertaining? No.
We're going deep on the tunes, man. We need a pick.
That's how I look at the club down here in Key West.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Absolutely. Hey, okay, here we go. With the 31st selection and in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Devin Lloyd, inside linebacker, Utah.
Yeah, long gone on my board, but man, oh my
Right.
God, that'd be a steal for them.
Well, yeah, it really changed. My entire mock draft in the teens to this point really changed with the Philadelphia, New Orleans, once that trade went
Valid
through.
point.
That changed everything. I originally had Lloyd mocked to go number 20 to Pittsburgh, but it changed. Everything changed after that. We went to the Kyrie Lam instead. We did that last week.
Ooh,
But Devin Lloyd then fell down. I actually had Christian Harris on my big board. I moved him up to my middle linebacker spot above him. But Devin Lloyd, he fits the mold of this new age middle linebacker prototype in the NFL, a guy who can drop in the coverage. This is not your dad's NFL anymore, where it's a big lumbering, run stuffing middle linebacker that can't move. We got guys now that can cover the pass, and they can also rush the passer, and that's what Devin Lloyd can do.
Oh yeah, he's going to be a player.
He's got the burst. He's got the burst
Yeah.
into the pocket. That's what you look for. The instincts. That's why I gave Christian Harris a nudge over him. The instincts. Sometimes the play's going over there, and he's going that way. It's two different. So there's some questions for me with his instincts, but the raw ability. And let's face it, folks. The Cincinnati Bengals, go on ESPN.com and look at their depth chart. They are barren at middle linebacker behind the starter. They don't have even anybody at depth at that position. So this fills a very good need for them. It gives them another weapon, another option for the defensive coordinator schematically on game day to bring heat on the quarterback.
Yep, re-signed their big-name safety. They've done a lot of work in the offseason, adding 3 offensive linemen after getting just trounced throughout the playoffs by defensive coordinators. So good pick. Love it, man. All right, my pick here is a guy we won't spend too much time. He has long been gone off your board that you had a chance to spend some time with in an interview space. It is cornerback Roger McCreary of Auburn. He's still sitting there, and the Bengals say goodbye to Eli Apple. The time has come. You got yourself a good, new, young corner in McCreary. If he's sitting there, total steal.
I love McCreary. Like I said last week, wise and mature beyond his years. Great pick.
Yeah, and I know you get to spend some time with him. Good interview, people. Go look for
Very
it.
much so. Yeah.
Okay, pick number 32 to finish our mock draft as we are going so overtime.
That must be the Detroit Lions. That must mean the Lions won the Super Bowl if they're picking last.
This is number 32, the Detroit Lions from this trade came from, yes, the world champion Los Angeles Rams. So the Lions have this pick at number 32.
I know what it was. I know what it was. It was actually the condition for Brad Holmes becoming the general manager in Detroit if he promised to go ahead and trade Matthew Stafford to your head coach. I know what this is. This was a little chess game behind the scenes that people probably don't know about. But I think that your head coach there, I think he kind of looked at things and said, okay, Brad, now if I do this and I make the call for you, you promise to send Matthew Stafford. Yes, I promise. I promise. Okay. Well, congratulations. You're the new GM of the Detroit Lions. Where's Matthew Stafford? That's how I think that went down.
You heard it here first, folks. We wear our helmets and our tinfoil hats. The scout is convinced that happened. That would not shock me, by the way.
That's how business is done.
Not to mention they took on a certain salary from Jared Goff. Anyway, subject for another show.
Don't forget about Michael Brockers, the other disaster. Hey, thanks for taking them.
Yeah, they made some decisions, and now the Lions are trying to reap the benefits. So here they got another pick in the first round at number 32. So tons of talent on the board. Scout Kelly, writer for SI Lions. They're marching to the stage. What's happening?
Here they go to close it out with the 32nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft. The Detroit Lions try to restore the roar and pick. Oh, that was kind of poetic. George Pickens, wide receiver, Georgia.
Oh, Ooh, sneaky pick right there.
The Lions get a top 15 pick at number 32 because he was injured. And so he's fallen down a little bit. And the thing about Pickens is he came back at the end of the year opposed to just sitting out and rehabbing. Now, George Pickens, folks, trust me. I went back and looked at George Pickens' 2020 film. Big time player. And I looked at George Pickens the last, I looked at him against Michigan, the 2 Alabama games, not the same player. You can tell he's gingerly going about business on, but the thing about it is he showed the wheels. He extended for a big catch, I believe, against Alabama. He showed he can do this. He was just a little ginger. It looked like he was still rehabbing, but he knew if he didn't go, he knew he'd probably end up in the 4th round or something. So he just rolled the dice and went with it, and he proved he can do it. Now, if Detroit can get this guy, if they can get George Pickens, okay, and they go ahead and they do the right thing, okay, and they save Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's job at number 2 and pick Malik Willis out of Liberty, the quarterback, for the first time, okay, this will give Detroit an actual downfield passing attack between Malik Willis and George Pickens. And the Lions actually will be in business more so than they've been in a long time. And for the first time in a long time, they won't be like watching paint dry, watching the Lions on offense either.
God, I got to tell you, I love that pick for Detroit. I love it. And that'll give him Amon St. Brown. You got Pickens. You got Hawk at the tight end. You got DeAndre Swift in the backfield. You got a young Jared Goff. Look, things are looking up in Detroit. I love that pick. Great pick, my man. I went slightly different. I went for a guy that likes to bite knees. Okay. And really? I did.
Can he pick it? No, I'm just kidding.
No, long gone off my board.
I know, I'm just playing.
Long gone. Blaine Gabbert was chosen. Pickett was chosen by, anyway. Yeah, Detroit Lions from the Los Angeles Rams. My selection is Brandon Smith, linebacker, Penn State.
Ooh, you saved a surprise for us.
I just dropped that in there because I believe that Lions fans probably want to say adios muchacho to Alex Anzalone.
You mean Mr. Ragdoll?
So Brandon Smith, who's an athletic, lanky, great guy. Guy's tough. He's kind of nasty a little bit. Might fit the Dan Campbell mold. And God, they need help on defense, Dan. If Jeff Okudah doesn't come back and play really good corner, they're going to have trouble all over that defense again.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, I like the logic behind that pick. That's a good pick for them.
I like yours better. Pickens. Oh man, if the Lions manage to get that kind of receiver on that offense with all the skill positions in player, and they built well along the offensive line, they could look. That division is kind of sort of up for grabs. They could make some noise. Yep. Very interesting, man. Excellent mock draft scout, Kelly. Folks, that concludes the 2022 and our very first Dirty Pocket mock draft of the first round, a week out from the NFL. Why they didn't invite us, I don't know. We would be excellent at the NFL draft.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, we would kill it.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the love, people? So I tell you, man. So as we conclude this week, just give the fans and the people listening for a guy that was a scout and now is writing for Lions and Jets. What kind of work goes into this thing, man? What kind of work goes into an NFL draft? A draft for a scout.
Well, it's an incredible workload. Like I said earlier in the show, it's literally 15 hours a day, 7 days a week for 6 months. And it's a grind. I mean, for me, it took me that long just to come up with my top 32 picks. And that's not even including the 6 rounds or the undrafted guys or anything else. I mean, I've done a couple other guys here and there for the Lions. My editor asked me once in a while to, if we go find me 5 late round defensive pass rushers or something the Lions might be interested in. But it is an amazing amount of work. I mean, it can take, these articles that people zip through in 2-3 minutes, it takes me between 6 and 9 hours to write one of these articles. Between the film work that's done, writing the article, it's like putting together a 500-piece puzzle. It's just very time consuming. That's why NFL teams, to your point, Stacy, have 13, 14, 15, 16, sometimes even 17 college scouts in the scouting department, traveling east, west, north, and south, guys cross-checking these different players. It never ends. The biggest mistake I made last year was waiting until like September, like the end of September, beginning of October to start looking at these guys. Never again. I'm going to start on May 1st for next year's guys. I would take like a day off and just get started right away again, because it is just so time consuming, because it's not just about looking at 32 players. You probably have to look at 120 players to find the 32 that you're going to put in the first round mock. And it's just, and then you have to match them up with the teams. And then I go into NFL.com, which is the most reliable source online, in my opinion, because they actually talk to the teams and know the people in place, and you can look at all the team needs. So what I did with a lot of times with my mock is look at, kind of the needs that, like we talked about the Buccaneers needing a guard, that type of thing. Go and look at what they because the teams are actually communicating with them what they want. But yeah, it is just an amazing amount of work that goes into this process. It is just, I mean, when I got into the league in 1998, I wrote a 350-page NFL draft book, self-published, and sent out 3 copies to every team in the league. And it was just 7 months, again, 15, 20 hours sleep a week. That's what it was. I mean, it's a labor of love. You have to love it, and you have to love grinding tape. And I do. So I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's a tremendous process.
Love it, man. Well, thanks for that insight, folks. We've gone a little longer on the Dirty Pocket the last few weeks, but hey, it's NFL draft season, and you can expect that. We've got some fun stuff coming up. So like, subscribe, hit us up on YouTube, on Twitch, find us on Twitter, where you'll meet the nicest group of people on earth. Hang out.
Just hashtag Trey Lance. You'll see.
Oh, good God. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just say no. But to the Scout, thank you, sir. I really thoroughly enjoyed doing this with you. A lot of fun. Look forward to many, many more here at the Dirty Pocket. But as we close this week, since we're so overtime, any parting shots from Scout Kelly?
Stay away from Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell in the 2022 NFL draft, and stay away from Christian Watson. Avoid these 3 players at all costs. Attention, every NFL owner and general manager, these 3 guys are going on my GM resume of players, the top 3 players to avoid. And did I forget one? Jordan Davis, Georgia.
Oh God, I feel like I'm in the clear then. In your parting shots, I'm going to suggest that everybody and anyone in the NFC West
say that 10 times real fast.
Take a really good hard look at Chris Olave. Pick him up, says the Scout. So, in conclusion, thanks for the parting shots. I can't talk now. Parting shots. I've been talking too long. Thanks for joining us here on the Dirty Pocket. We will see you next week, as it's really, 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 really close to the NFL draft. So we might have some last second run like hell and some embrace this guy. He's going to be a stud. Tune in next Wednesday night live on Twitch, and then you can find us also on YouTube following the show. Thanks, folks, for following us here on the Dirty Pocket for the Scout. Oh, he's got another parting shot.
Do you have one last tongue twister in store for us? Instead of saying Super Bowl champs, you can say Super Bowl chumps and mix that up?
Never going to happen.
Okay, never mind.
Never going to happen.
Thanks for watching, and thank you for having me on the show, Stacey. You're awesome. Great mock draft. It was fun doing it with you, man.
And on that note, folks, thanks for joining us in the Dirty Pocket. We'll